Not a how-to, me having fun and helping me grow on my woodworking journey. Come along.
I don't know if you remember, I had a video, it's been a little bit, it was called Mashed Skills, where I took an old potato masher, removed the existing handle with a blowtorch, and then made a new handle on the lathe and attached it. I really liked that idea, so I wanted to take some of my old utensils and do the same thing. That way it'll let me practice on the lathe, because I've only done 2 pieces on the lathe, to develop my skills. But I also wanted to display these. So my original idea was to come up with a pretty piece of wood and mount it to a cabinet we have above our sink upstairs with command strips. But I'm discovering that if you needed a decent piece of wood, it is going to take quite a bit of expensive wood to come up with a pretty piece. Finally, we found this piece of walnut that it meets the measurements. So I will cut a 6-inch strip and then cut it in half, and hopefully I can mount things to it. And there's another problem. Like, how am I going to mount this? I really don't want to drill a hole into this beautiful handle. So I was thinking originally about doing pegs in the board and hanging it like that. That could be problematic, but we're going to give it a shot. Hope you enjoy the ride. I started with a board that was around 70 inches long, so I had to cut off 2 3/4 on one side so I could have 6.5 inches for each strip, and then we cut that in half to make my 12 inches wide by 30 inches long, and then we just had whatever's left over. But look at this happy accident, how the grain is matching. This is probably pretty pricey for what I'm using it for, but I think it looks fabulous. Now we'll see how the glue dries. I put paper down underneath to make sure the glue doesn't drip on my floor, and blue tape on my clamps, otherwise it'll mess up the clamps. We may have to sand it a little bit because this side is thicker than the other. Makes you appreciate all the work that goes into stuff. So I've got the board cut out. We've started to sand. Now we need to measure to cut to size. So my hope is to put it matching the edge of the cabinet, so then I can take a dowel and hang my items up here and display them. Ooh, we did a really nice job getting that to match up. That was a happy accident. Say hello to my kitty. She thinks she needs to be in the video. Huh. Yep. See? We'll see how this turns out. My utensil display is coming along nicely. So I've hand turned all of these handles on the lathe. The measuring spoons and cups are from the Chinese elm in our backyard. And then, of course, I can't remember. Pretty sure the potato masher is Chechen. And the pie spatula, oh my gosh, I need to get these names down, is Paduke. So the next step
for these guys is I got to drill holes in the handles, which I'm not thrilled about. I didn't plan that very well. But I'm not quite sure how I would hang them otherwise. Maybe think about that a little bit. And then put some hooks and then mount it in my kitchen. When I was measuring the layout, I was trying to decide if the spoons would look better in the center of each measuring cup or evenly spaced out on the board. Now, your eye is deceptive and it's hard to tell sometimes, but here's the center. Here is evenly spaced out. Ultimately, I decided that the evenly spaced out looked best. Getting these hooks in place on this board was a little bit tricky. I used a plastic clamp to screw them in so I would not bend them or mar the wood. But it took a little bit. Ultimately, though, they are so pretty. I'm glad we went with this direction. I was originally thinking pegs, changed my mind, went back, but this looks great. I'm using command strips to hang this. I don't want to damage my kitchen cabinets. We found these pretty little hooks to use since the pegs did not work out. Now, in case it fell, the first night's when it's going to happen, so we put a pillow down. Here's the finished product. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I love my handles and my display.